coming up on Focal Point. With finals around the corner, how has that affected mental health on campus?
I think this year especially has been more draining, even than when we first went to online schooling.
A new sports team makes their way to Lansing, and they're using this ball to pave the way for others.
Summer is almost here, and the beaches and pools will soon be filled with swimmers. Coming up on Focal Point, I'll show you some ways how to have a fun and safe time this summer season.
A few East Lansing residents were told they had to stop building their treehouse, and for now, their kids can't exactly play on it.
Focal Point starts now.
Hello and good evening. I'm Brianna Idzior.
And I'm Sam Britton. Welcome to Focal Point.
A FedEx facility in Indianapolis became the scene of a mass shooting last night. Police say 19-year-old Brandon Scott Hull opened fire late last night, killing 8 people and injuring 7. Hull started firing in the parking lot of the facility before entering the building. Police say when they arrived at the facility, Hull was dead. The other 8 victims were also pronounced dead at the scene. Hull was a former employee at the facility. His motive still remains a mystery. A nearby Holiday Inn Express is being used as a reunification site for employees, witnesses, and families. Officer Janae Cook says this tragedy is difficult for everyone.
It is very heartbreaking. And you know, in the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, the officers responded. They came in, they went in, and they did their job. And a lot of them are trying to face this because this is a site that no one should ever have to see.
The FBI joined the investigation early this morning and is hoping they can figure out a motive.
An East Lansing couple started building a treehouse in late December when the city put a hold on the project. But the battle continues with some kids who are vowing to fight City Hall.
Come on, Ray. Out you go.
In Ben Iceling
Seriously?
and Jessica Livingston's home, it gets a little cramped sometimes.
I think it's the second smallest lot in the city of East Lansing.
And it feels even smaller since they had twin boys, Theo and Gabe, 8 years ago.
Wait, so we're not gonna be in this?
We were all kind of outgrowing our space.
Especially when everyone is stuck at home because of COVID.
She was trying to keep us all sane at home.
They decided to branch out.
I started thinking about a treehouse.
But for the time being, Theo and Gabe don't have stairs to get up into their treehouse. Instead, they have to go up like this. And once they get up top, there's not exactly a lot to do.
The treehouse, is it big?
Icelink never thought in 100 years that bad news could mean having to take down the treehouse.
Nobody likes giving their child bad news.
A neighbor had a complaint.
He came over and I think spoke to Ben and just said, you know, hey, we see that you're building something over there and it seems like it's really close to the fence.
And then a city building inspector stopped by.
He just said, hey, you know, I want to let you know that we've had a couple complaints about the building that's happening in your backyard.
The treehouse controversy started over 3 months ago.
This particular story seems to be a lot of firsts.
The Zoning Board of Appeals set a public hearing, and that's when Gabe and Theo went into action.
Gabe drew up the letter and Theo made the picture.
Gabe, you're going out of sight.
Theo and his 8-year-old classmates became treehouse lobbyists, writing to the city council, pleading for them to do the right thing.
This is my favorite one. It will bring more people. More people will come here.
Theo was happy with the results.
Yes.
But then the hearing got delayed.
And they canceled the hearing at 10:30. Well, I got the email at 10:30 on Wednesday, which is the day that the hearing was supposed to happen.
Along with the treehouse. So for now,
There's a window. We're still working on trying to get the walls and the spiral staircase up right now.
the treehouse is half done, but they have high hopes.
I really feel for Jess. She's put her heart and soul into this, and she just wants what's best for her kids.
And that's the end of the Gabe story.
So here's the latest. The neighbors that complained about the treehouse have moved. The family also had a visit from both the city and the Lansing Board of Water and Light. BWL was concerned that the treehouse would be too close to the power lines, but they determined it is not. Stay tuned. More to come on this story, I'm sure.
The city of East Lansing is looking at creating a new police oversight board. A study committee was formed last May to examine how an oversight board might look in East Lansing and what changes it would recommend. Among its potential responsibilities would be to review complaints and move toward having greater police accountability. The committee liaison, Ron Bacon, is looking forward to putting the right people in place to build up a more accountable department.
Ultimately, it comes down to when there's bad actors and that kind of thing, holding them accountable up to the point of where they're no longer in the department. Is this person fit, and building that case that this person's personality and makeup may not be fit for our community.
The committee's deadline to make recommendations to the City Council on the creation of the board is June 30th.
Closing arguments in the Derrick Chauvin trial will start Monday as the defense concluded their case yesterday. The former Minneapolis policeman is accused of murdering George Floyd after kneeling on his neck for over 9 minutes in May 2020. Floyd's death set off a wave of Black Lives Matter and anti-police protests. On day 14 of his trial, Chauvin decided not to testify in his own defense.
And have you made a decision today whether you intend to testify or whether you intend to invoke your Fifth Amendment privilege?
I will invoke my Fifth Amendment privilege today.
Closing arguments for the prosecution and defense will begin on Monday. After an unconventional school year, finals week is finally coming up and students have begun preparations. While most students are preparing at home, Focal Point's Claire Heisey is live on Michigan State's campus to share how students are dealing with the stress of online school and their upcoming exams.
Yes, that's right, Sam. With finals week right around the corner, some Spartans tend to feel a little more stressed during this time.
I think this year especially has been more draining, even than when we first went to online schooling.
Alexandra Wallman knows stress.
This final term has been a lot harder for me than before.
But she's not alone. Michigan State's Dr. Dennis Martell knows the last 12 months have been extremely taxing for everyone, especially students.
We know this last year has been traumatically affecting students, everything from how they study to socializing to their career choices.
A report by the National College Health Assessment shows how hard it's been on students.
I can tell you that this data here, Claire, will increase significantly when we get the 21 data back.
Dr. Martell also is the principal investigator of a 20-year study regarding health issues among MSU students, and recent studies show that stress levels are rising.
If you look at those things that were most traumatic, number one was academics. Okay, so if that was traumatic, number one in 2020, you can imagine what it's going to be like in 2021.
It's been a hard year. Alexandra has had ups and downs mentally, and that's why she's here today at the MSU Union. Studying. It's a little break in a claustrophobic year.
Additional mental health support can be found at health4u.msu.edu. There, students can connect with wellness coaches to better learn how to manage their stress or get more organized. In East Lansing, I'm Claire Heisey for Focal Point News. Back to you in the studio, Brianna.
Thank you, Claire. East Lansing Public Schools followed the recommendations of Governor Gretchen Whitmer and the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services by taking a two-week pause and moving to remote learning. Due to the rising number of COVID cases in Michigan, East Lansing felt it best to comply with the governor's guidance. The high school and both middle schools moved back to remote learning on April 12th. Elementary schools are continuing in-person learning. This two-week pause also included halting all sporting events and extracurricular activities. East Lansing started antigen testing last week, and depending on the numbers, athletics may be able to start back up before the two-week pause ends.
The pause, scientifically, it makes sense. I get it. 10 days off after spring break travel kind of nips everything in the bud, and then you come back on April 26th with more confidence that kids are not bringing the virus in your building.
East Lansing is one of the few school districts in Ingham County to take this two-week pause. The district plans to move back to a safe in-person learning environment on April 26th.
Governor Whitmer suggests residents avoid indoor dining since the state of Michigan ranks the highest in the nation for COVID cases. Restaurants want to stay open to give students and their families a place to celebrate. MSU graduation is in 2 weeks. Managers like Hopcat's Brian Ponke are continuing to follow the magic number 6, having their customers remain 6 feet apart and allowing no more than 6 customers per table. Most restaurants will continue with strict guidelines to keep everyone safe.
We are going to still be very strict about no more than 6 people per table. We're not allowing large groups. Like, I've had tons of calls for 10 tops, 12 tops. We're not doing it. We can't do it. You know, we want to accommodate as many people as possible, but we need to do it safely.
Restaurants are still open and will remain open. Takeout is always an option, and so is outdoor seating, although it might snow in East Lansing next week. Coming up, we'll meet a local celebrity to the East Lansing community whose job is more than just selling pizzas.
And I'm Darren Baydoun, and as we look at a beautiful spring day live on the Michigan State campus, you might have an uninvited guest next week if you eat on one of those outdoor patios. Snow. Say it isn't so. Weather is next.
Michigan State was actually seeing the marching band. I'm a proud member of the Spartan Marching Band. I served as the drum major at Michigan State for 4 years, and it was really one of the highlights of my college career, and the opportunity really set me up for success in not only my career, but also being a leader in my company. The program I was able to study allowed me the opportunity to understand a variety of the communication disciplines, and I think it was that opportunity to be able to understand journalism, to understand public relations, other aspects of communication, and certainly advertising really allowed me to create kind of a general understanding and really pave the way for me to go and create and invent and build the career that I wanted to pursue. I love that we have students at Michigan State who are eager, they're thirsty for knowledge, they have the tenacity to want to go and roll up their sleeves, they want to learn the trade, they want to learn the craft, and I just feel like it's my responsibility to be able to share with people the success I've created and be able to open doors for them to create the same.
Welcome back to Focal Point. Seeing snowplows on the street usually means cold weather and icy roads. But now residents might crack a smile when they realize it's not just any snowplow, it's Snow-B-Wan Kenobi. The city of Lansing held a contest this past winter to name 30 snowplows. There were more than 1,500 name submissions, and the winners are names like Lord Coldemort and Darth Blader. The next step will be getting the names printed on the snowplow trucks, and residents will be able to find their favorite truck with its new name on the snowplow map next winter season. Darren Baydoun is live in the studio with us for this week's weather. Darren, I gotta say, my favorite East Lansing snowplow name is Buzz Ice Clear.
That's a great one, Brianna. Now, I'm a big MSU basketball fan, so I have to say Tom Blizzo takes the cake for me. And while we may not need to see those snowplows anytime soon, there is a chance we might see some snow later in the week as we look here at your national weather forecast, starting with the West Coast. Warm temperatures in LA at 60 degrees, going up to Sacramento at 73, going up to Portland at 71, and Seattle at 66. Let's go down more so south. A lot more rain there with Houston. Some thunderstorms there at 69 degrees. Dallas a little bit colder, but not quite as rainy at 61. And then New Orleans 67, also with some showers of themselves. Going on to the East Coast, we have Miami with a warm 79 down Florida. A little more rainy up there in Orlando at 74. Going up through Charleston and Raleigh, 62 degrees each with some cloudy skies there. Going up into New York City and Boston, both cloudy and rainy at 50 and 41 degrees respectively. And as we get into your regional weather forecast here in Lansing, it's 55 degrees, 51 degrees both in Grand Rapids and Detroit and Michigan. Going down a little bit south in Columbus and Cincinnati, 55 and 58 there. 58 degrees in Columbus. Go up a little more west and going into your current conditions. Mostly sunny skies all around in East Lansing, Grand Rapids, and Mount Pleasant with temperatures in the low 50s. In the Motor City, a little bit more cloudy at 51 degrees there. So that's the main difference between those spots all in Michigan. And as we get into your 7-day forecast, so far partly cloudy skies all up through Monday. Temperatures rising a little bit, getting up to 63 degrees on Monday before we see some more snow showers on Tuesday with a week-long low of 41 before it starts to creep back up into the 50s by Thursday with some more partly cloudy skies. And of course, although we may be getting close to the summer, it's not quite beach weather yet. Sam, back to you in the newsroom.
Thanks, Darren. Spring has officially sprung, and with that, more people are spending more time outside and cooling off at the pool. Focal Point's Taylor Goldenwise shows us and you how your kids can have a fun and safe season.
Warmer temperatures means fun in the sun and more time in the water.
Dangerous because people can drown like really easily if they don't know how to swim, especially when they're in lakes or something like that and the current is really bad.
Olivia Barber is the Hazlitt High School swim coach. She usually teaches swimmers to win races. But this time of year, she also teaches kids of all ages how to simply be safe in the water. Abigail Foss is Barber's assistant coach.
So many lakes. So the importance of like children even knowing basic swimming skills like can't be stressed enough. Just because the water can be so dangerous when they don't know how to float or save themselves if they ever are in that situation.
Drownings are the leading cause of accidental deaths among children. More kids under 5 years old drown each year than in any other accidents. While the beaches at Lake Lansing Park South look a little empty right now, that will change soon because these kids have been practicing their swimming skills all winter long. Every year, Olivia sees kids light up when they learn water safety.
Otherwise, you might drown because it builds up your muscles and it's good for your arms.
But you're just right below the surface kicking.
Coach Olivia stresses the importance of not overworking themselves in the water.
As soon as they're like tired or they feel like they need to, grab onto the wall, grab onto the lane line and take a break.
Whether it's inside a pool or outside on a lake, the warm days can mean fun, especially by knowing everyone is safe. In East Lansing, I'm Taylor Goldenwise, Focal Point News.
If you're interested in signing your child up for swim lessons, go to your local Parks and Recreations website.
A summer day isn't complete without a dip in the pool and some barbecue smoking on the grill. Westland Apple Market in downtown Lansing celebrated 100 years of business today, serving up fresh, hot ribs. Rib Fest is an annual event drawing in hungry folks from all over the Lansing area. The market sells ribs and other fresh meat throughout the whole year, but today, customers snagged a rack straight off the grill.
We do this every year. This is some of the best ribs you will ever have. The fact that they're fresh, right off the grill, and that smoke taste, we love it every year.
The market owner expects to sell out by the end of the day, but don't worry, you can stop by Westland Apple Market anytime and purchase a rack inside the store.
From barbecue to pizza, most MSU students know Cottage Inn as a good place to get a slice of pie, but it also has one of East Lansing's most beloved restaurant owners.
Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
It's almost midnight. Most people are going to bed now.
How are you tonight? Good. What can I get for you?
But for East Lansing Cottage Inn owner George Hoover.
Chris, can you make a vanilla shake, please? There's that for you.
His work shift is just getting started.
I come in when the phones really ring, and that's after midnight. So that my shift started at 11:30 at night.
He's not making pizzas.
You ordered Nino with jalapeno?
He's up front, talking to the customers.
I literally live to come here at midnight and to talk to as many people as I can.
For Hoover, it's the customers that bring out the best in him.
Well, when somebody brings the best out of you and you're shining, you guys are the star. You just make me shine, that's all. Maybe they think you're famous, you know what I mean? So that's the way I look at it.
And even when it gets busy,
you're in the middle of our power hour.
He remembers everyone's.
You already know Mo.
Name.
What I'm gonna do is say, hi Sam, I'm George. What's your name?
Jack.
Jack, I'm George, nice to meet you. Now that we're at the cash out process, I may talk to you a little bit. I may say, hey, how was your day today, Sam? Jack, total's gonna be $953. That's 2 times. And then lastly, before you leave, for that third time. All right, Jack, let me get your autograph, please. And I've used your name 3 times. I've engaged with you.
The fact that he remembers so many people's names astonishes me. Like, I would say like 60% of the customers that walk in, George knows their name.
While most of his late night customers know Hoover for these orange pizza boxes,
how we doing, my guy?
His second job runs him in circles too.
I've been coaching Michigan State roller hockey, the D14 for 5 years now.
Honestly, he's the best coach that I've ever had.
Andrew Hewigan is the team's goalie.
The thing that sticks out to me the most is his heart is in it, like more than anyone on the team.
Hoover coached the Spartans to 3 consecutive Final Four appearances.
The first 3 years we were in the top 4 in the nation.
2019 was Hewigan's first season on the team.
I only thought I was going to be playing one season.
Despite losing in the Final Four, there was something about his coach that made Hewigan stick around.
Just seeing like coach's face and he was bawling with them, like he felt their pain and his heart was there too. Like he's not just a coach. He's not just showing up like trying to win games. Like he's there for the players. He really is.
He carries both jobs with him. As he sells pies with his late night team.
Thank you for choosing Cottage and Pizza. My name is George. How may I help you?
He can look at the wall and see his other team.
The boys absolutely love me and I love the boys.
It's almost time for close. And even if Hoover thinks he's just a pizza guy, everyone he's touched would say otherwise.
He's kind of a local legend at this point.
We love George. He's amazing.
He's the hardest working person that I've ever met in my life.
Sauces are in the box for you.
Yay, thank you.
All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks for coming by.
Hoover generally works late at night on the weekends, so if you happen to be going for a stroll down Grand River, you can stop in and say hi. Coming up, a local baker's roots stemmed from the state of Michigan. It only felt right for her to start her business back home in the Mitten State. Stay with us.
We've taken steps together to slow the spread of the coronavirus. But the fight is far from over, and it's our job to continue to protect ourselves and our community. If we want what we love most about MSU,
In-person classes. Walking around campus. Tailgates.
we have to continue to take precautions. Follow state and local guidelines. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. Stay 6 feet apart from others when possible. And wear face coverings. These little things can have a huge impact. So mask up and make a difference.
Welcome back to Focal Point. A new football team is making its way to Lansing while tackling one social stereotype.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
It's been a confidence booster for Chip Odell. If society thinks this is a man's job, she likes to prove women can do it better.
It just gives women more confidence to feel strong and empowered, and it gives you unity and a sense of family.
Chip and the woman she plays with want to empower women.
I encourage everybody, every woman who has a slight inclination to do it because whatever men can do, we can do too. That's all I gotta say.
Not only do they want to empower women, they also want to win.
There's people of all levels here, in all body shapes and sizes. We take everybody. There's a place for everybody.
Chip, Jessica Weeks, and Kyla Wilson are savages on the football field.
They're the women's tackle football team of Lansing. We're an awesome team.
Hearing tackle may surprise many.
We hit just like the men do, play just like they do.
But not to them. The Capital City Savages debuted a few years ago. For Jessica, it's exactly what she needed.
Because it kind of got me out of kind of a negative space in life. It gave me a place to feel like myself.
Weeks is a mother and player who aims to make football more inclusive and socially acceptable.
I have a daughter, she's 1.5 years, so it's kind of great for me to be able to kind of pave the way for her.
The team practices 3 times a week in order to not be average, but well, savage. They're gearing up for their first game May 1st. Football may have shut women out for decades, but
we are making a difference.
Not this time.
We all have one last name, and that's Savages.
In Lansing, I'm Leah Mitchell, Focal Point News.
The capital city Savages play in the Women's Football Alliance, which is the most competitive league. The team said they are excited to step back on the field after being off for a year.
The COVID-19 pandemic has caused many people to put off large gatherings like weddings that they had previously planned. Focal Point's Katie Schroeder is standing by live with us in the studio. Now, Katie, people are getting really creative with their weddings right now, huh?
Incredibly creative, Sam. One wedding planning duo is adjusting to the new wedding season norm by changing up the way people envision the typical wedding.
Spring showers bring May flowers, and usually weddings, but this year is different.
Is the governor going to shut down the state again? So folks are still on eggshells.
The COVID-19 pandemic has a lot of brides wondering if it's time to throw in the bouquet.
Don't give up. Like a young lady called me yesterday. You know, she was all upset. And I get a lot of those calls. So just be patient. Don't freak out.
Wedding planners Alex and Lucille Jones own the event business called We Come to You.
We've been doing this for a long time now.
Now, seeing the demand for wedding venues, the couple got creative.
It was going to be 2020 and 2021 weddings going to be all mashed together. It's a tug of war. You can have yours in the morning and somebody else can have theirs in the evening at the same venue.
A typical wedding might be held at a venue or church, but Alex and his wife Lucille have a different idea, to bring weddings here to the Meridian Mall.
He went bigger. And I'm going, oh, I'm not ready to go bigger. I'm ready to go smaller.
With brides struggling through the pandemic, Alex knew that things would change.
You know, everybody wants to be different, so they can be ahead of the herd, try to get ahead of everybody else.
Their venue at the Meridian Mall seats up to 200 guests.
This concept that I have here at the mall is I call it a roaming wedding. Your whole wedding party and your guests can go over to the trampoline park here in the mall and they can bounce or do whatever.
They even use closed stores fitting rooms as photo booths and partnered with the mall's go-kart and trampoline venues for extra fun.
If you have love there, it will survive. You will get married if you really want to.
Even if that means a photo shoot in a closed store and a reception on a go-kart track. We Come to You began booking weddings 2 weeks ago and already have some weddings planned for their Meridian Township Mall wedding.
Thank you, Katie. You know, weddings, they're just putting me in a mood. I could really go for some cake, or at least a cupcake right now. East Lansing is home to many businesses, but some are not as well known as the others. Sade Moore checks out one of the campus's hidden gems for our Friday Focal Point finale.
It's fresh, sweet, and good to eat.
This sandwich is the El Rito, and it's the best sandwich.
Katie Ann Carmel has lived and worked in Colorado and Hawaii, but she was raised in the Mitten State.
As a kid, my grandma baked a lot, and then my mom also baked as well and kind of did like little parties as I was growing up, trying to make like memories for us. And I really just enjoyed doing it, and obviously as a kid enjoyed eating sweets.
It's only appropriate that she opened this bakery, and it's only appropriate she name it Mitten Raised.
The only thing that we don't do from scratch is the donuts. That was one thing that I wasn't really focused on doing. I didn't want to be a donut shop.
This small business in East Lansing has become a great place for her and her student employees to work.
Mostly a baker and a cake decorator, so I love doing that. It's a nice escape from school.
After taking care of her uncle in Hawaii and learning from some of the best culinary chefs in the world, she decided to bring her talents back to the Mitten.
I came back to my hometown and always wanted to start something like this, but never, you always want to start somewhere, where you're from, or you have the support of family and friends, and so, East Lansing, that was my home.
Not only is Mitten in the name, but in the ingredients too.
Almost all of them are. It's just stuff like fondant or like the different decorations that we get. Those are the only things that aren't really from Michigan.
With 4 years under her belt, Katie hopes to continue the momentum she's created and give back to the community.
We pool like our tips for like our cash tips and now our credit card tips So each month, and each couple of months, we donate them to a different local fund, or we donate them to somewhere in need.
In East Lansing, I'm Sade Moore, Focal Point News.
Cakes, cookies, sandwiches, and almost everything in between can be found at Mitten Raised.
Due to the pandemic, the open hours are limited to Thursday through Sunday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more info, go to mittenraised.com.
Thank you for tuning into Focal Point for your Friday and the final newscast of the semester. For me, it is the final show, and I can't believe it's graduation. I'm Sam Britton, and hopefully I have a better time putting my cap on in a few weeks.
And I'm Brianna Idzior, and it's also my last time here too, and you know what? I think I have something of my own. From all of us here at Focal Point, have a great rest of your night.